Okay, the time is 1 p.m. I call to order this special meeting of the Oconee County Council. Today is November 4th, 2024. We're going to begin with a moment of silence. Mr. David Root, would you pray for us?
Yes, sir. Praise me if you do. Well, dearest Father, thank you for this day that you have made. Help us to rejoice and be glad in it, be appreciative for your many gifts, the opportunity to gather together to do work, to have a deliberative assembly, and really just to do a benefit to the county, to the state, and by your guidance, just be a force for good in this world. I pray that you would help that to happen through this meeting. In your name I pray. Amen.
Mr. Elliott, would you lead us in the pledge?
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next, we have approval of minutes from the October 15th, 2024 regular meeting minutes.
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second. Do we have any discussion or changes? Here none, all in favor? Aye.
That is 4A.
Next, we have county attorney comments. Mr. David Root.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you. Only one matter is a housekeeping matter. The executive session item for code enforcement discussion, we don't need that now. We'll need it on the 19th. So if I could have a motion to amend the agenda to remove that item, that would be great.
Make a motion.
We have a motion, Mr. Elliott, second. Any discussion on that motion? Here none, all in favor?
Aye.
That is 5A.
Thank you.
Next, we have county administrative comments. Ms. Amanda Brock.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. One is a reminder that Oconee County government offices will be closed next Monday in observance of Veterans Day. And please, if you see a veteran, thank a veteran for the service that they provided for us in this country. And two is we will have a need for a second special meeting during the month of December. That is tentatively scheduled for December 6th, which is Friday at 9 a.m. We have several economic development projects and matters. One is on the agenda today, but these companies are trying to beat the clock and get their matters settled before December 31st of the calendar year.
Thank you, Ms. Brock.
Yes, sir.
Next, we have public comment session. Just a reminder, you have 5 minutes. When you reach the 4-minute mark, I hold up the yellow sign. At the 5-minute mark, I hold up the red stop sign. It's not a discussion out back with the council. Council have an opportunity to speak during the council member comment session.
John Robert Wagner.
I just have a few brief comments about Resolution 2024-18, specifically referencing pages 3 and 4, dealing with environmental benefits. I am a retired geologist at Clemson University, and I just want to provide a little bit of information about watersheds. And most of what is written here is correct in general. That obviously septic tanks do create contamination. They can contaminate groundwater and surface water. The problem is that this resolution extends this to all of Oconee County. The Sewer South project along I-85 will absolutely help that area. But water flows downhill. Groundwater flows downhill. And along the I-85 corridor, downhill is Anderson County. There's mention made of contamination getting into Lake Hartwell. Lake Hartwell is not a bathtub full of water. Lake Hartwell water moves. It moves very slowly, but it moves downhill. So any benefit from the sewer south, and there definitely will be benefits in the southern part of Oconee County, but any benefits will not translate further north. The water sources for our county, Pioneer Rural Water District gets its water from Lake Hartwell. But the rest of the county, Westminster gets it from the Trauga River, Walhalla gets it from Lake Keowee, Seneca gets it from Lake Keowee. Whatever you do along the sewer south area will have absolutely no effect on water further north. That's really all I wanted to say. I'm not against sewer south. I think the benefits listed are definitely benefits for that part of the county, but this does not affect environmentally the rest of the county.
Jeff Newman.
Good afternoon. My name is Jeff Newman, and I'm a member of the Chattooga Lake Club. We greatly appreciate your support in sponsoring our application for FEMA funds to rehabilitate Chattooga Lake Dam. In reviewing the South Carolina Attorney General's opinion, we want to stress footnote 2. That states, quote, "Where the project sponsor is not the dam owner," that's project sponsor Oconee County, dam owner us, "a separate agreement will be required between the project sponsor and the dam owner. And," quote, "all applicable parties enter a legally binding contract to provide operation and maintenance of the project for the 50-year period following completion of the rehabilitation." End quotes. Perhaps such agreements can be drafted to adequately demonstrate the political subdivision's commitment to O&M for the expected life of the dam without the use of public funds. Chattooga Lake Club has maintained the dam for 70 years, that's the O&M included, and is committed to continue its maintenance in accordance with South Carolina DES and FEMA regulations and Oconee County's multi-jurisdictional hazard mitigation plan. We have drafted an O&M agreement for Mr. Root for his review, and we are committed to taking full financial responsibility for future operation and maintenance. The application deadline is now November 11th, and we're asking and pushing to submit our application this week. Speaking for me personally, our hearts and our treasure are wrapped up in in that property and that, including that dam. We've done the O&M for 70 years. There's no indication we won't continue to do the O&M. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Jim Mann.
Good afternoon, Council, Ms. Brock, Mr. Root. I'm Jim Mann, District 2 taxpayer. During the October 1st, 2024 meeting, there was a discussion between Councilman Hart and Mrs. Brock regarding the Terracon change order for construction testing and grading at the Golden Corner Commerce Park. Mr. Hart asked if we got a report back on the stabilization of the soil. He went on to say that he had taken some pictures that appeared to show the soil was pumping. The ground is moving up and down. Mrs. Brock indicated she had a statement certifying that the pad was stable. Mr. Hart then said he would like to get his pictures over to them, I guess whoever the certifying body was, and let them review his pictures and tell him the soil is stable. My point is, in reviewing the minutes and amended backup material for this meeting, none of this information has been included for public review. That would be the statement and/or report certifying that the pad is stable after grading was completed, the pictures that Mr. Hart took and referred to and requested that they be reviewed, and also the analysis or report of Mr. Hart's pictures of the soil pumping or some instability concerns. So I might ask that the backup material for the October 1st meeting be amended to include these items. Concerning today's meeting, Resolution 2024-18 on allocation of bond proceeds for capital projects. The resolution makes reference to declarations of Mr. Blackwell, Mr. Page, and Mrs. Brock. The backup material for today's meeting does include the declaration of Mr. Blackwell. However, the declarations of both Mr. Page and Ms. Brock are not shown. So I might ask that the backup material for today's meeting be amended to include these items. And then I'm also would ask the question, how can we vote on something that the public and council hasn't had a chance to review evidently? Thank you.
That's all.
Okay, I'm gonna read a public comment. This is from Miss Linda Airy. She's from, she spoke before at a meeting. So she says, "Good afternoon. This is Linda Airy, treasurer of Chattooga Lake Club and project manager for the Chattooga Lake Dam Rehabilitation Project. We thank you for your support in helping us apply for the High Hazard Potential Dam FEMA grant. We have reviewed the SC Attorney General's opinion, and as stated in footnote 2, we believe strongly that a legal agreement between Oconee County and Chattooga Lake Club can be created to demonstrate the county's commitment to the operations and maintenance of our dam without the use of public funds. The county's O&M responsibilities would include prohibiting building permits for any structure or facility that negatively impacts the safety of Chattooga Lake Dam or interferes with the operation or maintenance of the dam and its structures, managing and updating the multi-jurisdictional hazard mitigation plan, Anderson and Oconee County, dated March of 2023, maintaining jurisdictional authority under the National Flood Insurance Program, and developing and maintaining a floodplain management plan in partnership with Chattooga Lake Club for Chattooga Lake Dam, requesting and reviewing dam inspection report as needed from dam owner. The HHPD application deadline is now November 11th. All of our documents has been provided in a shared folder to Ms. Martin, including the most recent cost estimates. Due to a required design change from South Carolina DES to include a diaphragm filter, the total project cost is now estimated at $1,286,391. HHPD funding request is $811,372, and Chattooga Lake Club portion is $475,019. That's 37% contribution. We respectfully request your final approval to move forward with the application to be submitted this week. Thank you for your time, Linda. All right, now we'll move forward to council member comments. Any comments? All right, hearing none, we'll move forward to second reading of the following ordinances. This is ordinance 2024-25, an ordinance authorizing pursuant to Title 12, Chapter 44 of the Code of Laws of South Carolina, 1976, as amended, the execution and delivery of a fee in lieu of ad valorem taxes and special source revenue credit agreement by and between Oconee County, South Carolina, and Project Shaker, acting for itself, one or more current or future affiliates, and other project companies, collectively company, providing for a fee in lieu of ad valorem tax incentive, providing for a special source revenue credit, developing a joint county industrial and business park between Oconee County and Pickens County, so as to designate the property of the project as part of a multi-county industrial park and other related matters.
So moved.
Motion second, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? All right, next we have first and final reading of one resolution. That's Resolution 2024-18, a resolution concerning certain allocations of bond proceeds for capital projects.
Make a motion.
Have a motion?
Second.
Second, any discussion?
Yes, sir. I'd like to make a motion to delay this till the 19th. Is there a reason why? I just got the resolution late Friday. That really gave us no time to really kind of talk about it. Is there a specific reason why this has to be done today on a special meeting?
Mr. Davidson made a motion to delay this reading. Does he have a second?
Second.
All right, any discussion on his motion? No discussion on this motion. All in favor of Mr. Davis's motion to delay the reading?
Aye.
All opposed?
That's 2-3.
There was a question in that motion, Mr. Chairman, why it was on the special meeting today.
I mean, I think timing worked out to put it on the meeting today. I think it was gonna be on the meeting last week, but got delayed to, was having this special meeting today.
I'm glad to chime in. You keep looking at me, so I'm assuming you wanted my comment. The resolution needed to be done ASAP, so this is as ASAP as we can get it. I know it came to you Friday that affidavits or declarations were uploaded this morning, so they are all there. It needs to be done as quickly as possible. Would have been great if we could have done it earlier than today, but that's why we have it here today.
When we say quickly as possible, what's the urgency?
Well, we want to go into the fullness of the urgency is this. So section 20, the county intends to design, this is from the original ordinance. The county intends to design, acquire, construct, install, equip various capital projects, including wastewater improvements and related equipment and other related personal property, provided however that the county may amend the project description by subsequent resolution of the council, provided the par amount, without regard to premium, if any of the bonds does not exceed 25 million. This is the resolution to augment that initial ordinance to make it very clear. Obviously, the resolution is very fulsome, both for the public now, because there's been confusion about where that money is being spent, if it's all allocated to sewer, if it's allocated to commerce parks, et cetera. Also for the record in the litigation that's ongoing, because this would be fine, this short project description, had there not been the lawsuit, but this gets more of the public purpose, economic public purpose, this environmental public purpose that induced to the whole county, so.
So it seems very specific, but then it talks about Highway 11, and that seems very nebulous, very open-ended. So I don't know where it's going. Still don't know where it's going. Reference to Highway 11.
I think there's been some, and it's just, I don't know, the boundaries of it. I know that prior to the lawsuit coming, there was discussion on trying to make sure that it was right on hugging the I-85 corridor. So we saw some design maps about that. And
Right.
that's as specific as I've seen. Obviously, since then, that's been,
So why do we talk about going up
I'm sorry,
Highway
10
11?
months?
Why do we talk about going up Highway 11 in the document?
why do we?
Yeah.
I use the same project description that was given me that's been in front of you all the whole time.
It seems nebulous, open-ended. Is it going all the way to Salem, or where's it going?
I didn't interpret that. It's coming up Highway 11.
I thought it
I
was
read the
just
entire
after Highway
resolution.
11. I'm sorry.
I said, I read the entire resolution, and I did not interpret that
So
it was gonna go up Highway 11.
It stops at exit 1, is that correct? Does it go up Highway 11?
I think it used Highway 11
Is
as a
that
point.
correct?
The way I read it, it used Highway 11 as a reference point.
It's not the way I read it.
On,
But I'm not an attorney, so.
Mr. Chairman, on,
Not an attorney question.
It says at exit 1, located at South Carolina Highway 11. That's the reference to Highway 11.
but we're already, Sewer South Phase 1 is already at exit 1. So this says, entitlement 4 says sewer infrastructure expansion at exit 1 north, which would be going toward Westminster, located at South Carolina Highway 11. So this does speak to some kind of expansion at exit 1.
So it does.
I mean, here's my, motion failed, so we're still in regular discussion, right, Mr. Chairman?
That's correct.
So my fear is you know, if we haven't learned by, you know, when we're running sewer to unimproved land, it sits unused for years. If our intention, just like what we did at Golden Corner with the grading, which was very, very good, and I'm in favor of that, obviously, in favor of continued expansion at Golden Corner. But without it being graded, it sat there for years without somebody coming in. Now, as in my personal opinion, with it being graded, we'll have somebody on there shortly. So to me, without having prepared land, when you're running sewer to it, without an economic development incentive, which is similar to, you know, Exit 4, you know, you have land that's purchased for economic development. So Exit 4 makes sense. But when you start talking about, you know, the Durham Road, which is exits 2 and 3, but if you look under the request under the Joint Regional Sewer Authority, exit 2 and 3 has very few, if ever, requests, and there's not a lot of open land there. Then you go to exit 1 north on Highway 11, and we're gonna be running sewer over there. I mean, unless I'm just not understanding what sewer infrastructure expansion, exit 1 means, when you say south, I would think that would be the Sanctuary Point land. If you say north, I would say that's running up toward Chickasaw Point, unless my bearings are wrong. But if, you know, you got exit 5, or not, where it says number 5, business and industrial park site improvements, Golden Corner, fine with that. My opinion would be, is you've got the money, you don't need to go out there and just start running sewer to everywhere. This council got sewer was already to Golden Corner before us. But it sat there until we graded like we just did. And it's gonna be fine. It's gonna have a tenant in there in the next couple of years because this council agreed to grade it, which is great. So to me, if you don't look at this and like OITP, if we hadn't graded, I was on council, Glenn was on council, and John was on, finishing up on council started on council when we started grading that. If that hadn't have been graded, it would not have the tenants it have. So when you run sewer to land that is undeveloped, who knows how long it's gonna take, unless we're running it for hotels, which I don't think we need to be spending money on that. But I think council needs to look at it, and to me, I would look at taking off, and I guess if we're not gonna move it, then I'll go ahead and make my statement to remove number 2, which is sewer and infrastructure expansion at Durham Road, and 4, sewer infrastructure expansion at exit 1, and to include, as part of this, a request for economic development projects as related to a request for service to land an economic development project. So it still gives you the avenue, if council so chooses, to run sewer to those places, but it would be for a project, which to me would be more beneficial to, the citizens of the county and future economic development. Y'all may see somebody come in that needs sewer in a specific area, and if you've spent $25 million at one specific place, you may need $7 or $8 million to land a $40, $50 million project. So don't go spending all the money to where, unless I was wrong, but I talked to Chris Alias about this years ago, Durham Road exits 2 and 3 is very little movement from what I have seen on it. And then exit 1 is the same way. And if we're running north, the land is there's a couple of acres up through there, but there's no 40, 50 acre plat to land economic development.
Was that a motion?
That is a motion.
A second.
To clear up the
We have a
motion.
motion and a second. So discussion on that motion. March 24th, 2023, this is Budget Finance Administration Committee meeting. Mr. Davis made a motion that was seconded by Mr. Hart, direct staff to explore bonding options for Sewer South. Ms. Brock asked for clarification regarding which exits would need to be included. Mr. Elliott directed Ms. Brock to include exits 1, 2, and 4. And Mr. Hart inquired about exit 3, which commonly referred to as, Durham Road area. Mr. Davis stated, Mr. Hart inquired about exit 3. Mr. Davis stated that he does not want the exploration or bonding to include an annex facility. And then the motion was approved and passed 4-0. And that's what got this whole ball rolling, where the documents were generated from. All right, so we have a motion, a second. All in favor of Mr. Davis's motion?
Aye.
All opposed?
So, Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we strike Highway 11 north.
Now we have a motion to strike Highway 11 north.
No.
We have a second for the motion.
I'll second for discussion.
Motion and second for discussion.
If we're gonna say something like that, we need to be specific. We don't need to have an open-ended Highway 11 north. Here again, I'd love to have sewer in my little town of Salem that gets ignored all the time. So maybe let's say all the way to Salem. I know the sewer goes by, I guess it goes by the high school, so we connect it down below the high school. That'd be great. But let's say specifically where we're going on Highway 11 north. Let's don't be nebulous, open-ended. Thank you.
Now we have a motion and a second.
What is council's understanding of sewer infrastructure expansion to exit 1 north? How far?
I don't think that's indicating anything to go up Highway 11. I think it's indicating the location of exit 1.
But we already have sewer at exit 1.
It says sewer infrastructure expansion at exit 1.
Expansion.
North 85. Headed toward exits 2 and 3. They're given the location of exit 1 located at South Carolina Highway 11. There's nothing in here that says that sewer's going up Highway 11. Nothing.
But we already have sewer running north up 85. That's the sewer that comes down to exit 1. This to me reads as an expansion. That's why I'm asking the question. I'm not trying to be.
That's fine.
I mean, to me, if you look at sewer infrastructure expansion at exit 1, it means sewer infrastructure expansion at exit 1. So, and if it says north, it doesn't say north up 85. It says north on Highway 11.
I agree, the wording could be a little more specific, says north on 85 or north on 11, but I didn't read it to implicate that it was going up Highway 11. That's my take on it.
Mr. Chairman, may I interrupt?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. I have a map that we utilized last year when we went to do the bond presentation. I've emailed it to the clerk with permission. I'd like to put that map up.
Yes, ma'am.
As there is no specific, sorry to put you on the spot, Jim. There is no specific engineering for North 85 or what the language said is North 85. I assisted Mr. Root and Mr. Davison in drafting the language for this document. Simply put, North 85 is anything that is north of I-85. It doesn't mean we're traveling north. There's no anticipated plan for that. If you can scroll down just a little bit, Jim, kind of zoom in. So the inset map on the left-hand side is the document we provided when we made the bond presentation. If you'll see right there on the very bottom where it says exit 1, there's a small commercial sector, what I'm assuming would be a commercial sector on the 85 corridor. That is not a defined plan that I am aware of. The generalized map shows the greater infill to be between exits 1 and exit 4, which is that primary green area.
So why don't we say north of 85, not north of Highway 11?
I think it says exit 1 north, located at Highway 11. Is that the same language you're referring to?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how you interpret
It's
that.
pretty clear to me.
Clear as mud to me.
Well, it says sewer infrastructure expansion at exit 1, in parentheses north, which means the north side of the exit 1. It's how I interpreted it. And I apologize if there's a semantical error in interpretation there. because we already have sewer on the south side of 85.
I'll let the town say them now, they're gonna get sewer.
I mean, if you've got, when you state Durham Road expansion, it means the expansion is probably going down Durham Road. If you say expansion at exit 1 north, it's probably going down Highway 11.
That's
know.
why I believe the image would be helpful for this conversation, sir.
I guess that's why we wanted to put this off to the next meeting, let the public and everybody grasp this.
Any other discussion? All in favor of Mr. Elliott's motion? All opposed? Is there any other discussion on the resolution? All right, hearing none, all in favor of resolution 2024-18? Opposed? Next we have discussion regarding action item. This is council discussion regarding the fiscal year 2024 National Dam Safety Program rehabilitation of high hazard potential dam grant application to the South Carolina Department of Environmental Services on behalf of the Chattooga Lake Club, including discussion of related Attorney General's opinion regarding the use of public funds on private property. Mr. Root, can you kind of kick us off here?
I can, sure. Mr. Chairman, during the last meeting, where this was on the agenda, y'all voted to go ahead and submit the application. We had the request for the Attorney General's opinion pending at the time. We got the Attorney General's opinion back. You all have seen it, and so the application is being, going to be submitted. The deadline is extended to November 11th. And unless y'all change your mind based on this AG opinion or otherwise, it will continue along that course. The AG opinion, I think it pretty much echoes what my concern was previously. Absent some additional public purpose finding, absent some, I will just call it extra level or layers of security for the county so it doesn't have to expend public funds. You still have that constitutional issue. I think we can, do everything, within reason to insulate the county from that, but as noted, in footnote 2, this was brought up previously, perhaps such agreements, being the O&M agreement, could be adequately drafted to demonstrate the subdivision's commitment to O&M for the expected life of the dam without the potential use of funds. I think that potential word, is a concern, but we can do a number of different things to try to make that down to zero, which is where it needs to be. But wanted y'all to have the AG opinion, so if you had new concerns, you've heard it now from someone else, we could address those.
I'd like to make a motion to approve it.
Second.
That's motion second. Any further discussion?
And this would just be a motion to continue with the application.
Do we need to include in our motion to continue with the O&M agreement, or is that part of the previous motion?
Yeah, it's part of the
last
previous.
week? Okay.
Yeah, I don't think, if you want to go with this motion, certainly, but that'll be part of the
Okay,
package.
all right. So motion second, any other discussion? All right, hearing none, all in favor?
Opposed, 5
All right, we have no executive session now to the agenda. Need a motion to adjourn.
Motion adjourned.
Motion,
Second.
all in favor?